Hi and welcome to video number 14 in my series of classic electric blues guitar licks. Today we're going to look at the playing of the great Freddie King. And Freddie King had literally dozens of classic licks and lots of ideas, so I'm just going to pick a few that I think you can use and ones that I like and use a lot in my playing. Freddie King played with a thumb pick and a finger pick, so if you really want to imitate his style, you need to get a thumb pick and a finger pick, but I'm going to use a flat pick, and that's all you need for the things I'm going to show you here today. Let's start out with some single string rounds. This is an idea that a lot of people that listen to Freddie King take away from his playing. So those are some bass ideas for Freddie King. Another kind of Freddie King idea that I like quite a bit are his use of double stops. Now Freddie King has a couple different kinds of double stops. And the most common are where he plays on the first and second string, something like this. And he does this on a lot of his tunes. There's a tune called The Stumble in the key of E that I teach on this website, where he's playing this double stop. And if I'm in E, first position E chord, I come up here and find my second position bar chord. And then I can just take my first finger on the 7th fret of the first string, my ring finger on the 8th fret, and slide 3, or an easier way to do that is to start from the first position bar chord at the 12th fret with the bar at the 12th fret, and then just come up 2 and put that shape there. So there's my first finger on the 10th fret of the first string, and my second finger is on the 12th fret of the second string, or my ring finger. He'll do it like that a lot, where he slides into it from the fret below. And then a lot of times he'll wrap it up by doing that. So from this position, going here with my first finger on the 9th fret of the first string, second finger on the 10th fret of the second string, and then just move that down to so something like that. So you could play all kinds of stuff, but that's another common Freddie King type lick. So if we're playing in G, here's my first position G chord, up 2, doing the same pattern, just different spots on the first and second strings. Another variation, kind of a double stop thing that you hear Freddie King do a lot, is something like this, where he's playing this bend and then throwing in these single notes in between or around it. And that is a very common blues bend. And I'm playing in the key of A. And now this is what I meant to do before. Here's my second position bar chord with my first finger on the 12th fret of the 5th string and barring the 14th fret, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string with my ring finger. That's my A position. So if I just move everything, move those two fingers, staying in that same area, got my first finger on the 12th fret of the first string, my second finger on the 13th fret. And I'm bending the bend, I'm picking both strings, the first and second string, and then bending up the second string while holding that first string steady. You don't want to move that with the second string. And then the single notes, so going down to the 15th, 14th fret to the 12th fret of the first string, and then going to the 13th fret of the second string and the 14th fret of the 3rd string, which is an A. So the whole lick, he does this in a lot of different ways. He do something like this, maybe at the end of a verse, or he could play a lot of different things he does, and that's movable. So if we're in G, here's my second position G, bar chord, you can play something like that. Playing in let's take another key, A, which is what we did. Let's do C, take it all the way up there. Most of the time you use that in E, A, or G. Those are the chords that are the keys that you hear that the most in. So there's another Freddie King type idea. Let's see. Another one. Let's go to the second position blues box when he's playing his single string runs. A lot of times you'll hear him do something like this. And that is an idea on the first string based out of the second position blues box. So here's my first position G or C major chord, bar chord. That's my first position blues box. You'll hear him play there a lot, but then he'll also come here. Really 5 notes, 12th fret of the 3rd string, 11th and 13th frets of the 2nd and the 1st string. You'll hear him play all kinds of stuff on those notes. Now what I'm doing here is doing a chromatic type thing, where I'm going from the 11th to the 12th to the 13th frets. And then I'm holding bottom 2 notes and picking and pulling off on the 13th fret of the 1st string. So if you're playing a slow tune, you might do something like this. One more time. Sorry, slipping a little bit. But that's typical Freddie King type thing. Winding up on that 13th fret of the 2nd string. Another way you could play it is to slide into it from above, which you hear in a lot of Freddie King slower tunes. So if we're playing in C, second position blues box, I'm starting on the 15th fret, which is a G note, and just walking back down from the 15th, 14th, 13th frets, and then playing that little lick on the second blues box. So there's a couple tunes where he slides into that G note. Play something like that. Something along those lines. Another type thing with that same basic lick, if he's playing a faster tune, like a swing tune or something, shuffle more up tempo, there's a tune called Washout where he plays almost an entire solo verse using this lick. So for G, second position blues box, right in here, play something like this. And so I'm just repeatedly going from the 6th, 7th, 8th frets on the 1st string. Something like that. So that's another idea that Freddie King had. Single string runs using the second position blues box. One last one that you hear him use in a couple different songs, and there's this tune called Remington Ride, which is a really incredible instrumental. And there's also a tune called Taking Care of Business where he does something like this. He's playing the key of D, and he plays a lick like that, which is really based out of the second position blues box. So if I'm playing in D, here's my second position blues box, and what I'm doing is going on the 2nd fret from the 15th to the 13th fret of the 2nd string, then winding up on the 14th fret of the 3rd string. So the whole lick. Just play something like that for a little bit. He does that in Taking Care of Business. Something like that. That's kind of a cool little thing, and that's all out of the second position blues box. Now most of the time he's doing bends in there. And when he does that, he's playing mostly those 5 notes, but you can use that box in a lot of different ways, and Freddie King does that quite a bit. So now let's move on to the last part of this video. There's so much good Freddie King stuff. I want to show you a couple endings. Freddie King was really good at ending his tunes. He had a variety of end tags, as they're called. And I just wanted to show you a couple different ones. If you like these, if you look at any of my instrumental lessons for Freddie King's instrumentals like Hideaway and The Stumble, you'll see many of these. Here's one from a tune called Sensation that's really kind of easy to play and comes in real handy for me at least. Playing in the key of A goes like this. So I'm just walking down the string. Real easy. I'm starting out here on the 5th fret of the 2nd string, going to the 7th fret and back to the 5th fret, and the 8th or 5th fret of the 1st string, 8th fret, 5th fret of the 2nd string. Then I'm going to the 8th fret, 7th fret, 6th, 5th fret, 8th fret, 8th, 7th, 5th of the 3rd string. And then the 7th and 5th of the 4th string. And winding up on the 5, which is the E, 5th string, 7th fret. So the whole thing. And then an A ninth, B ninth to an A ninth chord. And if you don't know the 9th chord shape, go to my chords video under Blues Guitar Fundamentals and look at the 9th chords. These are essential. Freddie King uses these all the time. So the whole ending. Something like that. And you can play that in almost any key. It gets harder the further up on the neck you go, but I heard him use that in G and A and also in a couple other keys. Okay, another end tag in the key of C. He'll do something like this. To wrap up the song, he's just walking the bass. So I'm starting on the 8th fret of the 6th string, C note. Then I'm going on the 5th string from the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th frets. And I can double it up, or I can just pick them once. Then again, a 9th chord. This time D flat, D flat 9th to a C 9th. First position bar chord, or first position 9th chord. So the whole thing. That's another kind of cool way to end up a song. Well, those are some Freddie King ideas. There's a lot more. And again, I do so many instructional videos for his instrumentals because I like them so much that if you watch those, you'll pick up a lot more things. But those are just some general Freddie King licks that you can use in most any key and in a lot of different ways.